Did the Fed give buyers in Nassau County the upper hand? Today we're going to go through some data. We're going to look at market trends and what's going on around Nassau County, Florida. But real quick, my name is Seth Baldwin. I'm a local realtor in Nassau County. I've lived and worked all over the county, and I help people just like you every single week relocate here to Nassau County. If you're interested in relocating in the county, or even relocating to a different part of the county, or you just want to sell or buy in Nassau County, I would love to have a conversation with you, see if we might be a good fit to work together. If you want to drop down in the description, I have a link. You can book a one-on-one Zoom consultation, pick a time that's convenient for you, or if you'd like to shoot me a text or give me a call, my number is 904-734-0380. So, what's going on in Nassau County? Well, you can see there's 593 active houses on the market as of today. Okay, these are going to range from these houses are going to range from homes in Hilliard, first-time home buyer homes, all the way from let's see what we have here, $94,000. You can get a house in Yulee for $94,000. It's probably going to need some work, but these are going to go all the way up to homes in Fernandina Beach that are probably going to be oceanfront, which are going to be, there you go, $9.6 million. If you're not familiar with Nassau County, let's go do a map overview real quick. This is Fernandina Beach, or some people might know it as Amelia Island. And then you have Callahan, you have Yulee, you have a place called Wildlight, Hilliard, and then you even have Briceville. We're not going to talk much about Briceville. It's a pretty slow market, but we are going to talk about Hilliard, Callahan, Yulee, and Fernandina Beach. So, as of today, 592 active listings. Let's go in and see where majority of the buyer traffic's at right now. So this is going to encompass Callahan at 32011, Fernandina Beach, Yulee, and Hilliard. And right now we can see where majority of all the showings are taking place at is in between that $300,000 to $400,000 range, with a total amount of showings in the last month being 291. Okay, that's a lot of showings. But our second largest is between 400 and 500 at 125, and then it looks like our third's going to be between 500 and 600,000. Gives you a pretty good indication of where a majority of the buyers are focused at. And then we have another large number here in between 200 to 300,000. So if you look at it in terms of percentages, you can see here there's 37% of all the traffic's coming in this range here. And then you have here, and then here. There's your top three most trafficked price ranges. Currently, there are 188 pending and active under contract listings across Nassau County. And if you don't know what active under contract is, that just means that there's some sort of contingency. Maybe that's a third-party financing, maybe it's a appraisal contingency, maybe it's a contingency to sell another home, or financing contingency. Whatever that contingency is, typically will be marked as active under contract, whereas pending is typically a bona fide offer. So there's 188. Now, when you look at how many homes there are active, 592, and then we have, what do we have here, 188. That's a pretty large percentage. That's about, 30%? 30% of the total active inventory is active under contract. Closings. So the last 7 days, we've seen a total of 20 closings across the county. Okay, we've seen from the lowest at 200,000 all the way up to $1.1 million. And you can see here, 200, 300, 315. Majority of them are going to be hovering around in that median home price. I did the math real quick, so I wouldn't have to. The median sales price for the last 7 days is $397,493. So it's going to come right in between these two here. There's some new construction there. It's nothing that Nassau County lacks is new construction. We definitely have a lot. You can see there's some here in the Wildlight area, and then some here. So another thing we're going to look at real quick is absorption rates. So absorption rates, if you're not familiar, absorption rate is the amount of time that it would take to buy up all the inventory if no more homes were to hit the market. So anything under a 5 is favored towards sellers. Anything over a 5 is favored towards buyers. All right. Sellers have strength under a 5. Buyers have strength over a 5. So 32046 is Hilliard. Right now, the absorption rate's at 5.21. Year over year, there's a 4% change. Last year, this time, is a 4.97. Average list price for active listings, $552,000, while the median sales price or average sales price is $329,000, which just went down. So something you're probably going to notice is the average list price have stayed the same or went up, while the average sales price has gone down. So the gap between what buyers are willing to pay and what sellers are asking has gotten wider. So average days on market, 145. Hilliard's a very slow market. This is Callahan, 32011. 4.65 is the absorption rate versus 3.02, which is a 53% change. Active list price, 450,000 versus 440 last year. So you see there's $10,000 increase. And the average sales price, 264,000 versus last year 495,000. That's substantial. You can see here cumulative days on market average is 72 versus 38 on last year. Here we have Yulee. This is Yulee zip code. Absorption rate here is a 4.07 versus a 4.3, so it's actually gotten better than last year. The average list price you can see here is increased to 478,000, and the average sales price has actually increased from 450,000 from 446. The average days on market is the exact same, 73 days on market year over year. Fernandina. This is Fernandina Beach. Fernandina Beach, the absorption rate has went up to buyers' favor. It's a 24% increase. The average list price is $840,000, which is down year over year, and the average sales price is up to over $1 million. So there's a 28% increase there. The average days on market's 87 versus last year same time 68. So that gives you a little bit of information about each market and not just the county as a whole, right? And then today we're going to talk about a little bit about today's mortgage rates. There was some information put out from the Fed about cooling inflation numbers, which is really good. So we're going to see, you can see here this trend. We've been moving down, right? Right now we're at 6.28 30-year fixed, and something I really want to say is, I don't think buyers at this point should really wait on rates to just crash, because if that happens, you're probably going to see an adverse effect. If rates were to take significant reductions, I would think that a lot of buyers, because there's so much pent-up demand, would step into the market, which would drive prices up, right? People would be, there's this term of being artificially rate locked, and I think sellers would really be more inclined to sell their house and take that equity and buy what they want, downsize, step up homes, whatever that may be, right? I would tell buyers to be payment focused, not so much on the price. Today, we're able to find really good deals. You can get the house you want, the terms you want. Maybe it's not the rate you want, but if rates do come down, there's always the ability to refinance. And I know a lot of lenders are giving incentives that if rates do come down, in the first 6, 7, 8 months, whatever, we can refinance with no fees. What I would say to buyers is get pre-approved. Get pre-approved with today's rate, so you know where you stand, and you can start looking if you're interested in stepping into the market. I would say pick 2 to 3 target neighborhoods, whether that be complete towns / cities, like Yulee or Callahan, or if it's more hyper-local like Flora Park or Spring Lake Estates or wherever that is. Okay, pick 2 or 3 and really hone in on what's going on in that market. Set alerts for price drops. Price drops are going to come. This is a slower time of the year. There's a lot of inventory. Buyers are going to be in favor. And I would also say, if something does take a price drop or reduction and it's something that you've been looking for, you need to be quick about that, because as properties get into that range to where people are really looking to, they have the fear of missing a really good deal. A lot of times buyer activity will pick up heavily. We have a listing that's probably had 15 showings in the last 10 days. We did a substantial price reduction, and it's almost, we have a showing almost every single day. It's very good. We've had a couple offers, nothing really that the seller wants to entertain. Listen, the market is shifting. There's no doubt about it, okay? It's shifted to a buyer's market, but it's not going to last forever. What I would say is, if you're looking or you're in the market or you've kind of contemplated moving or selling a home, give me a call. Shoot me a text, or let's set up a Zoom consultation. Let's have a conversation, see where you're at, see how we can get you to where you want to be at. Again, my number is 904-734, I had to think for a second, 734-0380. Again, that's 904-734-0380. Or you can hop in the description and you can book a Zoom consultation with me. Again, this is Seth Baldwin. I'll see you around Nassau County.